Good Lord, child. After this disclaimer, let's get right into this story. Warning for sensitive ears. Hi guys, how you doing? I have a very tragic story that I want to bring today. And this story is about Pava LaPere. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. But this is a tech executive in Baltimore who was brutally murdered by a repeat offender who was paroled the prior year. Initially, he was to serve a 30-year sentence, but it was reduced to 15 or about half of that time, which caused him to be released last year. And he brutally murdered her, as well as there's probably possible other offenses on top of sex. He had a history of assault, robbery, and a sex crime. So this is someone who was considered or is considered very dangerous. He is a derelict and should not be released in society. And I'm sure they're going to be questioning how this man was released. However, experts have said that because he has served half of his time, that he probably did some programs and qualified for early release. I would like for people to think about, if you haven't heard of it, the Stanford prison experiment. I think it was in the early 70s where they did this experiment where the researchers were in the role of prisoners and the prison guards, and the experiment had to be stopped after 6 days because of the psychological trauma impacted upon those participating in the experiment, because the people who were the prisoners actually took on the role of their concept of what a prisoner goes through, and those who were the guards as well as the warden took on those roles, what they thought or perceived to be those roles, and it caused great psychological distress among the participants, to where the 2-week initial experiment had to be halted within 6 days. Now, I'm saying this to say what? If you think about it, for someone who has gone through the prior traumas before they get to prison, then they go to prison and there is trauma that is continued without the intervention that is needed. And as much intervention that is needed, what you're going to get is someone coming out who is going to present to the public like they have everything together, and that might not be the case. You're going to present someone that's going to probably have a perfection of their manipulation skills. This is why programming, reintegration, all of that needs to be examined, and it needs to be examined by professional people. I know we do this peer support thing or this peer thing, but you have to think about, if you just can read and study the Stanford prison experiment and know that if these people who did not have the negative dysfunctional background use their perception of what they should have done, what do you think people who have that experience are doing? Their perception is going to not be a normal perception of things. What's normal to people who've had a different experience is not going to be that normal to someone who has not had a different experience or who's only experienced trauma. So you get someone that's had maybe coming from a 2-impact parent home, or coming from the stability of a single parent home, and they run into someone who's perfected the art of manipulation. There's going to be some trauma inflicted upon that person. And this young lady, they are reporting that there is no forced entry into her place, but I'm sure as this story evolves, we're going to find out more and more information. But for now, I would like for you to look at the stories, and I inserted in here 3 different versions of the news, and they did catch him. Finally, they did catch him. The different police forces worked together to capture this man, because this lady has gone to college. Before she completed college, she had actually started her company, Eco Maps, and it was very successful because she was reported to be a multi-millionaire. Now here this thug coming from nothing, being nothing, or I won't necessarily say he came from nothing because I don't know his family background, but definitely he was nothing to do this to this young lady. So watch the stories, leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I would like to bring you more videos, but hopefully this does not become the norm. However, if you just pay attention to what's going on in society, this is happening over different other cultures and races and people. Black women are murdered right now. I believe it's down to or up to 4.5 hours. And initially, when I had started the Murdered While Pregnant series and reporting those facts of Black women who are murdered, it started off as every 6 hours. So now we're in the 4. So that has increased. So it's eventually things spill over into other neighborhoods. People are not little cute little puppies and don't believe everything that you hear. I know a lot of times there's negativity put up on the shoulders of the women in society of saying, oh, the women are doing this or the women are doing that. But just keep your eyes open, be educated, read up on things, and evaluate, because there is no excuse for this type of behavior. So thank you. Watch the video. Let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you again. Wanting to women seeking a project to love, get the puppy, okay?
Suspect with a violent criminal past, now wanted in that brutal murder of a young CEO in Baltimore. Tonight, authorities now warning, quote, he will do anything he can to cause harm. ABC's Alex Brachet in Baltimore.
Tonight, a reward and urgent manhunt for a violent repeat offender who officials asked if he should have ever been back on the streets, now accused in the murder of a promising young CEO.
Hi, I'm Pava. I'm the co-founder and CEO at EcoMap.
26-year-old Pava LaPere, the head of a Baltimore-based tech company worth millions. Officers finding LaPere's body just before noon on Monday at an apartment building. They say she showed signs of blunt force trauma. Authorities say Jason Billingsley is the main suspect and is now evading police. They don't believe he knew LaPere.
I just have a message for Jason Billingsley. If you're out there watching, hopefully you are, every single police officer in Baltimore City, the state of Maryland, as well as the U.S. Marshals are looking for you.
And tonight, some officials asking why Billingsley, a registered sex offender, was released nearly a year ago after serving half of a 14-year sentence. But legal experts say it's not uncommon to be released halfway in.
Billingsley could get out in 2022 based on good behavior and also participating in vocational training or therapy. So it does make sense that he got out almost last year.
And tonight, LaPere's father speaking out about the young CEO.
We're going to take her away from Baltimore, but her presence will never leave here.
David, tonight police say there is evidence linking that suspect to that CEO's murder and also an attempted murder and rape just outside of Baltimore last week. And now detectives are going to be reviewing cases as far back as October of 2022 to see if there are any other possible links. David?
This individual will kill and he will rape. He will do anything he can to cause harm.
Authorities are on the hunt for a suspect in connection to the murder of Pava LaPere. Police confirmed to NBC News the 26-year-old, who served as CEO of EcoMap Technologies and was featured on this year's Forbes 30 Under 30 list, was found dead in her Baltimore apartment on September 25th with signs of blunt force trauma.
We're here to announce that we have a warrant issued for the killing of Miss LaPere.
During a press conference held the following day, Baltimore Police Commissioner Richard Worley announced that authorities have issued an arrest warrant for Jason Dean Billingsley in connection to her case.
32-year-old Jason Dean Billingsley of Baltimore was wanted for first-degree murder, assault, reckless endangerment, as well as additional charges. At this time, we believe and we know he probably is armed and dangerous. We ask anyone who may have seen him or knows his whereabouts to contact police immediately by calling 911.
Worley then went on to implore residents to be aware of their surroundings at all times.
This individual will kill and he will rape. He will do anything he can to cause harm. So please be aware of your surroundings.
Before issuing a warning directly to the suspect.
Every single police officer in Baltimore City, the state of Maryland, as well as the U.S. Marshals are looking for you. We will find you, so I would ask you to turn yourself in to any officer, any police station, because we will take you into custody eventually, and then we will turn it over to the state's attorney to prosecute you to the fullest.
Per NBC News, who cited court records, Billingsley was previously sentenced to 30 years in prison with 16 years suspended after he pleaded guilty to a first-degree sex offense in 2015. According to the outlet, he also pleaded guilty to first-degree assault in 2009 and second-degree assault in 2011. Shortly after LaPere's passing, her company, Ecomap Technologies, reflected on their founder's legacy, noting that she was not only the visionary force behind Ecomap, but was also a deeply compassionate and dedicated leader. A September 26th statement shared to Facebook reads, "Her untiring commitment to our company, to Baltimore, to amplifying the critical work of ecosystems across the country, and to building a deeply inclusive culture as a leader, friend, and partner, set a standard for leadership, and her legacy will live on through the work we continue to do." E-News has reached out to the Baltimore Police Department for additional updates on this case and has not heard back. NBC News was unable to reach Billingsley's public defender for comment.
We're here to announce the arrest of Jason Dean Billingsley for the September 25th murder of Pava, LaPere, and the September 19th arson and rape incident on Edmondson Avenue. Billingsley was taken into custody in Bowie at approximately 11 o'clock last night by our warrant apprehension task force, U.S. Marshals, Capital Area Regional Fugitive Task Force, Maryland State Police, Baltimore County Police, Prince George's County Police, Howard County Police, and ATF, as well as Bowie State University Police and D.C. Metro Police all work together to take him into custody. I know this arrest does not bring back Pava LaPere or take away the heels of the many victims of Mr. Billingsley. But my hope is at least we can give a sense of closure to the city of Baltimore, the victims of all of his crimes and all their families. In reference to the homicide of Ms. LaPere, we are still processing all evidence to determine exactly what occurred. We do know that there was no forced entry in the apartment building, as this was a secured building. We don't know if there were any connections previously to Ms. LaPere or Mr. Billingsley. This is what we will continue to investigate, as well as the incident on Edmondson Avenue. I want to be very clear that in reference to both incidents and throughout these investigations, all information that was provided was based on preliminary details available at the time. Every BPD officer received notification of the warrant on September 20th, and they were aggressively trying to capture the individual and to locate his whereabouts and take him into custody. Since then, it has been continued to be our #1 priority until his capture last night. Our WATF task force, as well as the U.S. Marshals, started to track him on September 20th, and we tracked him all the way until we captured him yesterday.